everyone, welcome back to my vlog. And now, for this topic, let's talk about the Module 3, Lesson 1. Instructional Materials in Education. So, the contents of this topic is that, first, a guide to the selection of instructional materials. Second, introduction to the various rules of instructional materials and different teaching or situations. Third, different types of instructional materials that are available today. And fourth, selecting suitable materials, specific purposes. Guidance to the selection of instructional materials. Instructors must be thoroughly familiar with the content of all media used in instruction. Instructors must select only instructional media that are consistent with students' capabilities and learning styles. Guidance in the selection of instructional materials. Instructional media should be chosen objectively rather on the basis of the teacher's personal preferences or bias. Chosen on the basis rather of their contributions to the learning outcomes. Produced locally by instructor usually makes significant contributions to learning. Follow learning activities and appropriate to the teaching formats being used. Therefore, there are guidelines in selection of instructional materials that are needed to remember and follow as well. So, the guidelines in selection instructional materials. Purposes, flexibility, development, guide learners, objectives, diversity, and content. And let's proceed to the three basic classes of instruction method and its rules in different teaching or learning systems. First is the class of techniques. First, individualized. Examples: directed study, open learning, distance learning, programmed learning, and mediated self. So the role of teacher or instructor or trainer is that to produce or manage resources and tutor and guide. Next is group learning. Examples: tutorials, seminars, group exercises, and projects, games and simulations, self-groups. So the role of teacher is organizer and facilitator. Next is mass instruction. So the example of these are conventional lectures and expository lessons, televisions and radio broadcast, films. So the role of teacher or instructor or trainer is that the traditional expository rule and controller of instruction process. And those are the class of techniques. And now, let's proceed to selecting suitable materials, specific purposes. So, as we start of this content, let me ask first let me questions first. What educational objectives or learning outcomes do you want to achieve? And what basic instructional strategy or strategies do you think would be most suitable for achieving these objectives or outcomes with the people you will be working with, taking account of all relevant factors? So, there are suitable material specific purposes that are given. First is mass instruction, individualized learning, group learning, and direct experience. And now let's move forward to the types of instructional materials. First is printed and duplicated materials. So this type of instructional materials that have written descriptions include scientific, scholarly, and reference and methodological teaching aids, as well as textbooks, books or problems, and exercises, books of recording scientific observations, laboratory manuals, manuals for production, training, and program textbooks. Next is non-project display materials. Are those which require no projection rather material or any electric power, and are mostly composed of study prints, charts, posters, maps, flashcards, photographs, textbooks, illustrations, and illustrations found in magazines and newspaper papers. Next is still projected display material. Type of educational materials that have representations of actual objects and phenomena includes three-dimensional materials, which are castings, globes, and experimental models. Two-dimensional materials are those chart, pictures, photographs, maps, diagrams, and drawings, and audiovisual materials, which are motion pictures, film clips, film strips, slide sequences, transparencies, records, and tape recordings. Next is technological instructional media, and those are the types of instructional materials. And now, let's proceed to different types of instructional materials that are available today. So, materials and technology. Materials and technology should be technology offers the possibility of alternative materials and classroom interaction. Next, after and video cassettes. The next major technological change was the use of computers and internet. The internet is bringing further changes as courses can now be downloaded from all over the world. And now let's proceed to the online tools for teaching and learning. And these are Schoology or LMS, ITLM or LMS, YouTube, Edmodo, Kahoot, Padlet, Powtoon, Flickrs, Stormboard, Mindjet, Muslims Kids TV, Stick Around, Socrative, ClassKick, Canva, Quizlet, Dell Alchemy, Duolingo, The Smooth, Crash Course, and Edpuzzle. Nowadays, we are adopting e-learning program because of the pandemic that we are facing. However, there's nothing that the pandemic can stop us, the learners, from learning, exploring, and dreaming. So, the popular online tools for teaching and learning that are being used. of the learners and the teachers are the following. First is Kahoot, a free student response tool for administering quizzes, facilitating discussions, or collecting survey data. It is a game-based system played by the whole class in real time. Next is Clickers, an assessment tool which allows teachers to collect on-the-spot formative assessment data through online games and lessons. Next is Edpuzzle, a free assessment-centered tool that allows teachers and students to create interactive online videos by embedding either open-ended or multiple-choice questions, audio notes, audio tracks, or comments on the videos. Next is ClassKick, a free digital formative assessment tool that allows teachers to create lessons and assignments that students work through on their devices at their own pace. Next is Padlet, a virtual bulletin board in which collaborators can simultaneously create and organize posts of any content type, whether it be text, documents, images, videos, links, and etc. Next is Schoology, or LMS, an online learning management system that allows educators to organize curriculum, create lesson plans, and provide student assessment. Next is Quizlet, takes information and converts it into flashcards, quizzes, and games so that users can study the same information in a variety of forms. Next is Canva, can be used to create a variety of images, including event flyers, resumes, cards, certificates, and infographics. Next is YouTube, a free tool that allows you to create, collect, and organize videos around specific topics or interests. And lastly is Muslim Kids TV, the first Islamic internet TV for children to spend time learning about Islam. Enjoy interactive games, download and print educational resources. And these are the references. Thank you for listening. I am Rachel Midaan, the BS Ed Science 2 student. Thank you.